Grab the dark fruit at the beginning, Blackbeard explodes. Chapter 1. Grand Line, New World. On a sea. Debris from the ship's planks could be seen everywhere, and the heavy iron from the rollers sank into the seabed. 4 huge ships are gathering together. Can be seen. One of them was dilapidated, with half of its body in the water, already crumbling and about to sink. The other 3 ships used their horns to block the dilapidated ship. On those 3 ships, the flag was flying with a skull and a crescent-shaped beard between the nose and teeth. This is the flag of the Whitebeard Pirates. Whitebeard Pirates. The leader of the New World 4 Emperors, its captain Whitebeard is also known as the strongest man in the world. Famous all over the world, resounding throughout the world. Just be in the New World. Even if he is just an insignificant passerby, he still knows the name of the Whitebeard Pirates. Now, the battle is almost over. The result is self-evident, the 3 pirate ships of the Whitebeard Pirates defeated each other. The opponent's ship has been destroyed, and the pirates on it have suffered numerous casualties. This is a battle between the Whitebeard Pirates and another pirate group. Those dispatched were the 2 captains of the Whitebeard Pirates. Fire Fist Ace, the captain of the second team, is a user with the ability to burn the burning fruit. He is a rising star pirate who has risen in the past 2 years. He has a bounty of 500 million and is famous all over the world. The captain of the 4th Division, Saki, is the veteran division captain of the Whitebeard Pirates. He followed Whitebeard through life and death many years ago. Except for 2 people. There were 2 other people who were extremely brave in this confrontation. One is Saki, who once competed for the captaincy of the second team, but ended up handing it over to Ace. The other one is the deputy of Team 4 Saki, Lin Yan, who has been a member of the Whitebeard Pirates for some years. Lin Yan. The White Regiment has this number 1 person. That's right. Lin Yan is a blue star traveler. A few years ago, he came to the pirate world due to an accident and time traveled into the body of an 8-year-old child. What can an 8-year-old do? Coincidentally, he met the Whitebeard Pirates. And got Whitebeard's permission to join it smoothly. When I realized that in the world of pirates, the weak are the strongest, and if they are not strong enough, they will always be ants. Since then, Lin Yan began his years of hard training in the Whitebeard Pirates. What a pity. Not everyone is gifted and specialized. For 12 years, no matter how hard he worked, no matter how hard he practiced, no matter how hard he worked day and night, he, who was not talented enough, could only watch the people around him rise to fame one by one. However, his progress has always been slow, difficult, and he is unable to do anything. To this, Lin Yan also sighed repeatedly. Time travelers are not omnipotent. Fortunately, there is always a way out. 3 years ago, there was finally movement coming from the system that was long overdue. Just when Lin Yan was looking forward to it, the system prompts that you need to obtain the dark fruit to fully activate it. Dark fruit. Hear this tip. Lin Yan couldn't help but feel shocked. You need to know why Teach was able to gain a foothold in the New World and become the new 4 emperors. The dark fruit is indispensable. It was even rumored for a while. The reason why Teach can have dual fruit abilities. Most of them are closely related to the dark fruit. What the system means. Are you letting yourself take away Teach's luck? Seeing this, Lin Yan suddenly smiled. To become stronger. He can do whatever it takes. The dark fruit is the top devil fruit in the New World. Compared to the thunder fruit, compared to the shaking fruit, etc., it is no less. How could Lin Yan not be moved? What about a mere dark fruit? If only it were that simple. That couldn't be better. After getting the system. Lin Yan also secretly explored the footprints of the dark fruit. But he is not the chosen one after all. After years of practice, he was unable to ascend. How could he find the dark fruit so easily? Waited for many years. He even didn't hesitate to join the 4th team, Saki. Finally. Just today. The dark fruit has a new look. Back to business. After wiping out all the enemies, the 2nd and 4th teams began to clean the battlefield on the ship and collect loot. I found a devil fruit. Sachi unexpectedly found a box among the broken barrels. Open it and take a look. There is a devil fruit inside that exudes a little bit of black energy. His voice. It immediately attracted the attention of others. When everyone saw the faint purple one in Sachi's hand, which looked like a pineapple, with a snail-like spiral pattern imprinted on it. Everyone was amazed. I didn't expect to find devil fruit on this ship. You are so lucky, Saki. Ace walked next to Thatch. He looked at the purple devil fruit in front of him and said, "The atmosphere in the Whitebeard Pirates is relatively harmonious. Even if you find something extremely precious, such as a devil fruit or other rare treasures. But it can be placed in this family that I miss so much. It is also worth 1,000 pieces of gold and cannot be exchanged for 10,000 pieces of gold. No one would covet this devil fruit." Most people looked at Thatchy with envy. At the same time, encourage yourself secretly. Find it quickly. I also need to find a similar good baby. The lines on this devil fruit are a bit strange. To be honest, I can't figure out what kind of devil fruit it is. Although Saki is the squad leader. But after practicing hard for many years, he doesn't know much about this devil fruit. Moreover, devil fruit illustrated books are very rare. It is almost impossible to find it on the sea. It's no surprise that he doesn't know him. My Xiao fruit exudes a fiery red color, but yours is a bit weird. Is it purple or black? Ace frowned and compared it with his original Xiao fruit. Don't know why. The moment I saw this devil fruit, he suddenly had a strange illusion. It's as if fate has taken hold of it and is strangling it. But, although it exudes black energy, it looks like an ominous thing. But devil fruit is still very mysterious even after hundreds of years of development. No one knows what secrets are hidden behind it. Perhaps. Maybe this black energy is innate to it. Looking at this situation, is it also a Logia devil fruit? After hearing Ace's words, other crew members also began to speculate. Devil fruits vary. But no one can tell what abilities they have. If you eat well, you may soar into the sky like their Captain Whitebeard. Not eating well. Are there still few nameless people in this sea? It can be said. A devil fruit. It directly affects this person's fate for the next half of his life. Since I'm not sure, forget it. If you have time, go back and ask Dad. First, confirm what kind of devil fruit it is. Everyone I saw was unclear. Sachi didn't think much, he just thought that he got a good thing. It's not in vain to work so hard in this firefight today. He closed the box and put it away. However, Thatch didn't notice. Just as he was putting away the box, there were two eyes, staring in this direction intently from the moment he took out the devil fruit. One of them is Lin Yan. Yes. What Thatch found was the dark fruit. This dark fruit. It was also the beginning of his descent into the abyss. Just the moment I saw the dark fruit, Lin Yan looked directly at Teach. Sure enough, Teach also stared at the devil fruit in Thatch's hand. There was excitement, surging, and unconcealable greed in his eyes, and the look of desire even overflowed onto his face, and he couldn't stop it at all. He was always cautious. At this moment, he didn't even notice that someone was patrolling him. Thump, thump. Teach's heart almost jumped into her throat, and her hands were shaking because of the excitement. For this moment, Teach didn't know how long he had been waiting. The burning desire can no longer be restrained. He wants it. It's this dark fruit. Emperor Tien pays off his conscientious people. Tonight. I'm gonna get it tonight. Blackbeard Teach's eyes were bloodshot. For everything that's about to happen, Lin Yan calmed down his impetuous heart. Although Teach is extremely eager for the dark fruit, he is not the same. So, just let him see it. This devil fruit. Who will win and win next? This crusade ended successfully. A party is inevitable. Everyone from the second and fourth teams gathered together. The people in the two squads were enjoying themselves. Around the bonfire, people ate large pieces of meat and gulped down drinks. The lively atmosphere ensued, and laughter continued one after another. As for Saki, who captured a large amount of property and even a mysterious devil fruit, he became the protagonist of this feast. Everyone took turns drinking. Not for a while. Sachi was drunk. I can't do it anymore. Sage burped. Ha 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 ha, Saki, you are so inferior. Ace laughed while holding the wine jar in his hand, laughing and taunting at the same time. I'll let you this time. Don't let me wait until next time. Sachi also knew that he was too drunk, but he was good at talking, and he would fight back no matter what. With the help of everyone, he limped off the deck. The sky has darkened. It's getting late too. After Saki was brought back to the room. Ace was also tired. The party must come to an end. Some people went back to their rooms, and some fell asleep. The atmosphere was lively just now. It stopped in the blink of an eye. The sound of snoring was endless, resounding throughout the entire deck. Now, no one knows. The turning point for the end of the Whitebeard pirates is happening quietly tonight. Night falls. Black clouds cover the mysterious moon, the sea wind keeps roaring, and the waves are rough. It's a dark and windy night. A figure came to Sachi's room quietly. Squeak. The door made a slight sound. Saki, who was sitting in a chair and feeling uncomfortable, looked up. Then with a smile on his face, Saki said, "It's really a joke to the people in their second division. Who can resist me like this?" "You were right, Lin Yan." The person coming was none other than Lin Yan. He was holding a box in his hand and placed it on the table in front of Sachi. Lin Yan said, "Captain Sachi, let's drink something hot so that we can sober up and not feel so uncomfortable." As soon as I opened it, the heat inside hit my face. Sachi took a deep breath and praised, "You are the most attentive among our 4th squadron, but it's a pity. Look at the entire Whitebeard pirates. Lin Yan's strength is not top-notch. But his hard work was noticed by everyone on the ship. Going out early and coming back late, studying and practicing hard every day, some of them may occasionally see Moby at 4 in the morning, but for Lin Yan, it is just a daily routine. But due to lack of talent, it's just a matter of drawing water from a bamboo basket." Saki couldn't help but shake his head after seeing it. For a period of time, he even wanted to let Lin Yan serve as the deputy of the 4th team, but the strength was really insufficient, and New World was strong and weak, so he finally gave up. But it's not about the mind. Lin Yan is beyond the reach of ordinary people. He often makes suggestions for the 4th team, and their 4th team is already in an invincible position before the battle begins. This is also the reason why he can gain a foothold in the Whitebeard pirates. Picking up the hot soup, Saki drank it in one gulp without saying a word. Feel the warmth coming from inside your body. Even the drunkenness has dissipated a lot. Much more comfortable. Sachi couldn't help but sigh. Next. Inside this room, Lin Yan chatted with Sachi for another half an hour. During this period, Sachi felt dizzy, his eyes were dull, and his body was shaky. After all, he still couldn't bear it. His head sank and he fell on the table on the spot. Seeing Sachi unconscious, Lin Yan sighed. Good. He added something to the hangover soup. It can make people unconscious in a short period of time. But it won't cause any serious harm to your body, and you will feel refreshed after waking up. Talk about it. For Sachi. For this huge Whitebeard pirates. Lin Yan was grateful. After all, I was able to survive almost entirely because of the Whitebeard pirates. Saki is the leader of their 4th team again. He also takes good care of himself. If developed according to the original work, Thatch will definitely be killed by Teach for the dark fruit. Take away the dark fruit yourself. Firstly, it can help Saki get through the difficulties, and secondly, it can also activate his own system smoothly. Killing 2 birds with 1 stone, getting the best of both worlds. At least Lin Yan thought so. I'm sorry, Captain Saki, I have to do this for the sake of the dark fruit. Lin Yan didn't want to be a salted fish for the rest of his life. He stood up and came to the side. The small box containing the dark fruit was very eye-catching. Lin Yan had already caught it when he entered. Raise your hand and take off the box. When he opened it, he found that it was the dark fruit obtained by Saki during the day. The dark fruit is held in the hand. At this moment, Lin Yan's eyes flashed with greed. I wish I could swallow it directly into my belly now. Fortunately, he still held back. After accepting the dark fruit, Lin Yan came to Saki's side. Saki, without this dark fruit, I wouldn't have the capital to survive. If you feel resentment towards me because of this, I will wait for you. Leave this sentence behind. With ambition in mind, Lin Yan quickly left Sachi's direction. Before that, he had already placed a small boat in the cabin. I thought of it just in case of emergencies, but now it finally comes in handy. He didn't hesitate at all. In this silent night, when everyone is immersed in sleep. With dark fruits. Taking a small boat, Lin Yan set foot on the sea. The sea breeze roared, and the cool cold wind slapped on the face. In the envelope of darkness, Lin Yan disappeared into this sea area and left quietly. Lin Yan just left. About 2 or 3 hours later, another sneaky figure sneaked into Sachi's room quietly. Just came in. Teach then noticed Saki, who was sleeping directly on the table. With a cold look in his eyes, he slowly walked out of the darkness. Sachi. Sachi. He called softly a few times, but Saki, who was lying on the table, remained indifferent, breathing steadily and snoring. Teach was surprised, but he didn't expect that Saki would be so sleepy. It seems that those people's drinking has some effect. Breathed a sigh of relief. Teach quickly searched the room. After a while, the small box of dark fruit shot into his eyes. Teach was overjoyed. Grabbed the box. Can't wait to open it and take a look. Immediately afterwards, Teach's pupils tightened for a while, and then his face became extremely gloomy. Inside the small box. Empty. How is this possible? How is this possible? I was so excited when I first came in. After seeing that there was nothing in the box, Teach's face became ferocious. This guy Saki. I clearly saw him using this box to store the dark fruit. Why? Maybe not. Teach's movement is quite big. Even with the help of medicine, Saki still woke up. After taking a look at the person in front of me, it was Teach. Sage's face was full of confusion and he was defenseless. He said, "Teach, why are you here?" His voice made Teach startle, turn around, and look at Saki looking at him with curious eyes. Teach quickly adjusted his facial expression, calmed down and asked, "Ace said you drank a lot, let me come over and take a look." Sachi nodded and showed his original expression. "Ace, this guy seems to have his heart. It's strange. He just drank some hangover soup, and his head is so heavy." Hangover soup. Teach's ears moved and he instantly captured this keyword. Taking a look at Sachi's table, he saw a food box. Inside the food box was still warm soup. It was obvious that someone had come to Sachi's room before. Could it be? Teach's expression changed. Is it possible that I am going to miss out on the dark fruit? However, Teach still chose to have a glimmer of hope. He asked, "Where are the devil fruits you captured today? I have a lot of experience in devil fruit illustrations, and I may be able to help you judge one or two." You mean that devil fruit? They were all members of the Whitebeard pirates, and since they had just woken up, Thatch yawned. He didn't think much about it, pointed to the small box on the bookshelf and said, "Isn't it inside the box?" At the same time, Thatch added, "Tisk, Teach, I really can't tell that you still have this ability. That devil fruit illustrated book. I can't even memorize it. In our fourth team, it seems that only Lin Yan can tell the difference." Teach opened the box without saying a word. "Saki, where is your devil fruit? It's not in it at all." Watching the box open, there was nothing inside. Sachi was also slightly startled, and even his groggy head woke up a lot. He couldn't help but rub his eyes. "Huh. I obviously put it in this box." Teach's face was gloomy to the extreme. With Sachi's groggy state, it was obvious that he would not lie. He hurriedly asked, "Saki, who came over just now to give you hangover soup?" It was obvious that the effects of Saki's medicine had not worn off, so he muttered, "It's Lin Yan, and it's all thanks to him, otherwise I would still be feeling uncomfortable now." Lin Yan. Teach was overwhelmed with emotion, his fists clenched, and his whole body was trembling. The matter has come to light, it must be the dark fruit that Lin Yan took away. This guy, he definitely realizes the special nature of the dark fruit. You really deserve to die. Because he is familiar with the devil fruit illustrations, Teach is familiar with many kinds of fruits, and the same is true for the dark fruits. The dark fruit is special enough, and so is itself. The two complement each other. If you want to achieve the goal in your heart, the secret fruit is indispensable. But Teach couldn't think of it. Just because of an oversight. Dark fruit. It was actually obtained by others. I have been lurking for so long, I have been hiding for so long, and I have worked so hard for a dark fruit. How could Teach accept today's failure? In just a moment, Teach imagined countless possibilities in his mind. Lin Yan covets an An's fruit. Does Lin Yan have the same special characteristics as himself? Lin Yan knows some kind of ability of the dark fruit. But what Teach really couldn't figure out was, Lin Yan obviously looks so ordinary, his talent is almost too poor, and he is a stepping stone in the valley. Even though he has the trust of Teach in the fourth team, to be honest, Teach has never looked at him. But Teach couldn't think of anything. Such an ordinary person. Such a person that I once looked down upon. He took away the dark fruit, took away everything he had, and took away the things he had dreamed of and wanted. He hides deeper than himself, and even does things neatly and without leaving any traces. Lin. Smoke. Vicious resentment came from Teach's mouth, and he almost shouted these two words through gritted teeth. The low roar made the surrounding air condense. Seeing Teach's ferocious appearance, Saki became a little more energetic. He shouted, "Teach, what are you? Not finished yet. Just listen to, puff." Sage's expression suddenly changed. He looked down and saw that Teach's hand had been inserted into his chest. As he pulled harder, Teach tore out a still beating heart. Blood dripped down, staining the wooden boards on the ground red, extremely bright. Organs involving the heart were pulled out one after another, and the nausea reached its peak. The severe pain made Saki suddenly wake up. He was about to shout out, but his hoarse throat couldn't utter a single word. "You're such a tough guy, can't you even see Lin Yan's tricks? Why let him take away the dark fruit so smoothly? Do you know what this dark fruit means to me? It is everything to me. You know what? Trash." Teach seemed to be going crazy. He pulled out the heart and squeezed it hard, causing Sachi's heart to break. What's more, Teach felt uneasy, so he directly wrapped the organ tube around Sachi's neck, and then pulled hard. His eyes were red and exuding murderous intent. Teach hadn't been so angry for an unknown amount of time. The power quickly passed away, blood was scattered on the ground, and anger rushed to his mind, and Saki stopped struggling. After a while, his pupils dimmed and his head drooped. To his death, Teach could not understand why Teach had such hatred for him when it came to Lin Yan and the dark fruit. Without knowing why, he died in Teach's hands. The dark fruit has been stolen. No matter how you vent your anger, it won't help. Looking at the already dead Saki on the ground and the messy environment around him, Teach closed his eyes and took a long time to calm down. It's not like he doesn't understand the temperament of the crew members of the Whitebeard pirates. Once something happens to any of the crew members, they will be greeted by the endless anger of the Whitebeard pirates. This is also the reason why the pirates from the outside world dare not provoke the Whitebeard pirates. We must not let the third person know that I killed Sage. After looking at the surrounding environment, there was such an eye-catching food box. Teach is not cunning, and he has an idea in his mind almost instantly. Now that the deal is settled, it might as well be to blame Lin Yan for Sachi's death. No need to think about it. Now Lin Yan almost rolled up his things and left. With all the physical evidence available for absconding out of fear of crime, it is not difficult to pin this label on Lin Yan. Instead of letting yourself continue to wait for the dark fruit, it is better to borrow the hands of the Whitebeard pirates and let them eradicate Lin Yan. By then, looking for opportunities myself. It's not impossible to regain the dark fruit. Moreover, in the past, it was just a aimless search for the dark fruit. Now that Lin Yan is in front of him, he won't have to look around. If you can keep staring at each other, the chance of obtaining the dark fruit is definitely unmatched before. Think of this. Teach quickly began to clean up the scene and redressed Sachi's body. At least on the surface, it doesn't seem to have anything to do with me. To be cautious, Teach immediately went to Lin Yan's room to explore. As expected, Lin Yan had already disappeared here. Thinking that this guy might have taken the dark fruit at this moment. The anger in Teach's heart couldn't help but become a little bigger. It was before. After getting the dark fruit. Teach naturally wants to leave the Whitebeard pirates quickly and start a new company. But now, without the help of the Whitebeard pirates. Not to mention searching for Lin Yan, which is like looking for a needle in a haystack. Even if he finds it, he may not be able to get it easily if he has the dark fruit. Although I have never seen the strength of the dark fruit with my own eyes, I have heard about it. Even if Lin Yan is not very talented, it is still easy to reach the top in one step. This is the unique strength that devil fruit brings to the user. It is also a goal that countless people want to pursue throughout their lives. Take this step to take away the dark fruit. Lin Yan miscalculated. He originally thought that taking the dark fruit first would allow Teach to let Thatch go and change his life. But in the end, Saki died in Teach's hands. He even put the blame on himself. He underestimated the dark fruit's desire for Teach to pursue power, and also underestimated Teach's hatred for losing the dark fruit. A deserted island. Lin Yan's lone boat docked at the coast. The weather in the New World is complex and unpredictable. It is simply a dream to cross the ocean with a single boat. Moreover, as the four emperors of the New World, Whitebeard's jurisdiction is not very large. Going down to Fish Man Island and going up to all sea areas, they all belong to the territory of the Whitebeard pirates. In a short period of time, it was almost impossible for Lin Yan to escape from this place. Fortunately, he is weak on his own. Even Whitebeard uses all his hands. I'm afraid it will take some effort to search for myself. The uninhabited desert island is the best shelter. This defection. You must be careful at all times. The center of the island. After confirming that this is a deserted island, your own safety can be guaranteed. Lin Yan took out his dark fruit. Look at the strange patterns on it. Take a deep breath. He bit it immediately. Before I could chew it, the bitter taste inside hit my nostrils. Even though Lin Yan was well prepared, he still put on the mask of pain, bared his teeth, and looked extremely ugly. What's more, his face was full of disgust, and the taste was almost indescribable. Even so. But he still insisted on eating the entire devil fruit. I know that one bite of devil fruit is enough, but that is just hearsay after all. The opportunity to change the trajectory of your life is just around the corner. Lin Yan definitely didn't leave any room for criticism, and swallowed the entire devil fruit with difficulty. He grabbed the drinking water that had been prepared on the side and poured it directly into his mouth. Gulu gulu, hiccup. During this period, half an hour passed, and Lin Yan finally regained consciousness. It took me so long to get this devil fruit, I hope the system will not let me down. Suddenly. Just then. A voice came from Lin Yan's mind. Congratulations to host, you have taken the dark fruit, the conditions are met, and the system is officially activated. Activating, 5%, 10%, 50%, 100%. Activation completed. In front of Lin Yan, a high-tech panel appeared. The panel has a sense of future technology, with all kinds of virtual lights displayed on it, which is dazzling and overwhelming. At the same time, your own information is also at a glance. Character. Lin Yan. Talent. Mediocre. Fruit. Dark fruit, LV1. Ability. Physical skills, LV30. Hockey. Armed color hockey, LV12. Note. LV represents level, the full level is 100. See your own panel. Lin Yan nodded slightly. The system is pretty good. Before there was no dark fruit. What Lin Yan practiced hard was physical skills. Armed hockey can only be mastered by many captains of the Whitebeard pirates. It's a pity that even if you practice so far, you can only reach this level. Lin Yan couldn't help but shake his head. His talent was really poor. It is detected that the host is browsing the system for the first time, and we will officially give you a novice gift package. Gift packs for newbies are being distributed. Distribution completed. Congratulations to host for getting 3 color domineering. Congratulations to host for getting talent skill points 3. Congratulations to host for obtaining 6 months of training experience 5. Congratulations to host for getting space treasure bag. Congratulations to host for getting fruit side effects cleared. Moment. A full 5 abilities were integrated into Lin Yan's body. Lin Yan's heart moved, and then he quickly looked towards the reward window. The first 3 color hockey, although he himself mastered the armed color, it can be seen that whence and conquerors cannot be acquired after all. Now that the system has completed it, all 3 color hockey is in hand, and the future will be smooth. The second talent skill point, what is Lin Yan lacking now? Naturally, mediocre talent cannot be mediocre. Sometimes he once sighed for this. Now that the talent point came, he applied it to himself without saying a word. On the body. The third item is 6 months of cultivation experience, and there is also the mark, *5. If you calculate it carefully, the number added up. Although it always feels a little weird. But this can also save yourself a lot of practice time. The fifth one is the space treasure bag. Just looking at these 5 words, Lin Yan can roughly guess that it is similar to the system warehouse, and it will be much more convenient to carry items in the future. The last one was the one that made Lin Yan's eyes light up the most. The side effects of the fruit are eliminated. What does this mean? The side effects of the dark fruit are so great that even Teach was tortured to death. And in addition, for example, those with fruit abilities are afraid of sea water, afraid of sea tower stones, etc., they will not be given to Lin Yan in the future. With such side effects eliminated, how can he not be surprised? Character: Lin Yan. Talent: outstanding. Fruit: dark fruit, LV 15. Ability: physical skills, LV 35. Hockey: armed hockey, LV 20. Knowledge hockey, LV 15. Conqueror's hockey, LV 15. Looking at his system panel again, Lin Yan couldn't help but take a deep breath. To know. After spending so many years practicing in the Whitebeard Pirates, my physical skills have only reached LV 30. Now, after obtaining the talent skill points, in just 2.5 years of training bonuses, many of my abilities have been upgraded to the LV 25 level. Talent bonus. It's really not comparable to ordinary things. There is no harm without contrast. It was worth noting that he had gone through a lot of effort to capture Teach's dark fruit. Overall, just the novice gift package given by the system this time. Lin Yan was very helpful. Just then, Lin Yan suddenly saw a huge sigh in the corner of the system. Click to take a look. I saw a pop-up window coming my way. The system has been activated. Please host complete the task as soon as possible. Main mission: establish a pirate group. Request: as a pirate, what can you do without a pirate group? Host is requested to have an exquisite ship as a navigation tool as soon as possible. The staff should be at least 5 people including host, and ensure that everyone has influence in the original work. Achieved level A. Reward: S level lottery. Side mission: evade pursuit. Requirement: within 1 month, you will not be caught by the Whitebeard pirates. Reward: B level lottery. Side mission: practice hard. Request: please host to practice hard for a month. Reward: C level lottery. Lin Yan hurriedly took a look at the tasks released by the system. Generally speaking, by completing the tasks, you can get the corresponding rewards. The rewards are divided into C level, B level, A level and S level from bottom to top. Among them, C level is the worst and S level is the strongest. Although I don't know what kind of reward I will get after completing the task. But it is undeniable that this is the only way to become stronger. Whether it is establishing a pirate group or practicing hard. For Lin Yan, these are all part of the road to becoming stronger. Something that must be done sooner or later. The only thing that puzzled him was the second task. Escape from the Whitebeard pirates. What does this mean? Lin Yan was extremely puzzled. Why would the system issue such a task? Although what he did was a bit unkind and he took away Thatchy's devil fruit. No matter how angry Thatch is, he won't use all the strength of the Whitebeard pirates to destroy him, right? Could it be that something happened to the Whitebeard pirates? After thinking about it, Lin Yan had no clue. Instead of waiting, it is better to concentrate on practicing. It just so happens that there is no one around here to disturb him. Lin Yan found a cave and quickly began to practice his dark fruit. As a top-level fruit, its internal impact was so overbearing that even Lin Yan could hardly withstand it. The ability to simply have side effects has long been of no use to him. No matter how domineering the dark fruit is, it can only settle down and slowly turn into energy, flowing throughout Lin Yan's body. And Lin Yan's strength also improved rapidly in a short period of time. In the blink of an eye. Half a month passed like this. I have to say that the bonus of talent is very significant. Lin Yan's strength has skyrocketed. I originally planned to complete the 2 branches on the deserted island. Unexpectedly today, something that made Lin Yan frown still happened. Standing on the highest mountain on the island, Lin Yan looked toward the seaside. Around the abandoned island, 3 fleets appeared. There is a pirate flag hanging on the fleet. There is a huge skull on the flag and an inverted beard under the skull. The flag is fluttering in the sea breeze. Lin Yan was naturally familiar with this pirate flag. No need to think about it. The Whitebeard pirates are here. How did they find this place? Lin Yan narrowed his eyes and quickly disappeared on the island. After the Whitebeard pirates landed on the island, they immediately launched a blanket search. Recalling the mission issued by the system, the Whitebeard pirates were chasing him. He wondered why the people of the Whitebeard pirates were so obsessed with him. Even on such a deserted island, no effort was spared to conduct such an intensive search. What really happened to the Whitebeard pirates? Report: we found traces of human life in a cave. A soldier hurriedly ran to the big vortex spider schoolyard, and he reported. Go check it out. Schoolyard stood up and immediately ran towards the cave with his men. Just arrived at the scene. Schoolyard's eyes instantly turned cold. As a modern person, Lin Yan naturally has many modern habits. After living in the Whitebeard pirates for so long, more or less these habits were brought to him on the Mobi. Schoolyard had just walked in, and he knew clearly with just one glance that these must be the footprints of Lin Yan's life. With his fists clenched and a little murderous aura bursting out of his body, Schoolyard said coldly, I finally caught your tail. The subordinate on the side did a little inspection. Sir Schoolyard, these things have been used by geniuses recently. Lin Yan must still be on this abandoned island. Schoolyard was also polite. Search with all your strength, don't let me spare even an ant. Yes. The hands and feet of the people below became even faster, with hatred on their faces, and they wanted to turn the huge abandoned island upside down. Not only that, Schoolyard even shouted directly on the desert island, Lin Yan, if you really still regard yourself as a member of the Whitebeard pirates, then come out and meet me. Watching the crew of the Whitebeard pirates pressing forward step by step. Soon, their hiding place will be found by them. Lin Yan deliberately wanted to escape by water. The side effects of devil fruit are no longer limited. If you want to leave. It wasn't impossible for Lin Yan to swim out. Only. Driven by doubts in my heart. Lin Yan decided not to hide anymore and stepped forward to confront him about what happened. Schoolyard sat on a boulder, his eyes closed. Suddenly, there were bursts of footsteps in my ears. Schoolyard hadn't opened his eyes yet, but he said directly, I thought you, a hidden rat like you, didn't dare to show up. How come you finally show up after knowing that you can't leave? Lin Yan looked at Schoolyard with complicated eyes. Although Schoolyard is not a member of the 16th Division, he is one of the 43 captains of the Whitebeard Pirates Grand Fleet. In terms of identity and status, he is not inferior to any captain of the White Squadron. He has become even more famous among the Whitebeard Pirates, and has been famous in the New World for many years. Lin Yan said, did something happen to the Whitebeard pirates? Hearing Lin Yan's words, Schoolyard opened his eyes suddenly, veins popped up on his forehead, his chest was burning with anger, and his murderous aura was suddenly released, heading straight for Lin Yan. After standing up, Schoolyard took a step forward, raised his finger and pointed at Lin Yan, and said angrily, I don't know how you can have the face to say such a thing. In the 4th team, Saki should tell you not bad, right? Why would you do such a thing to Sachi? Lin Yan frowned, and he heard some clues from Schoolyard's words. Sachi. Something must have happened. Wrong. He has already taken away the dark fruit. Saki should never have to face that kind of experience again. He took a deep breath and calmed down. Lin Yangsan asked, what's wrong with Sachi? It's better not to say this. The moment it was spoken, the murderous aura on Schoolyard's body became even stronger. In an instant, the surrounding stones were forced to retreat, and waves of air surged into the sky, and dragons soared around the fields. Schoolyard held his hand on the handle of the knife, took out the long knife from its sheath, and pointed the tip of the knife at Lin Yan's neck. Don't you know what you are doing? You are still pretending now. I will kill you, you traitor. Say it. Schoolyard took action directly. The knife struck Lin Yan's head. Lin Yan would naturally not sit still and wait for death. He ducked and avoided the knife. After the first blow failed, Schoolyard attacked again. He was flying at a fast speed, with wind blowing under his feet, and his speed was even better than before. Wherever the long sword is directed, there are bursts of sharp edges. Each blade is heavier than the last, and the murderous intent is getting more intense each time. If it were in the past, Lin Yan would definitely not be Schoolyard's opponent. You can obtain the dark fruit and activate the system. He has many abilities at his disposal. He also has the strength to compete with Schoolyard. In the blink of an eye, the two fought for more than 30 rounds. You come and I go, no matter who wins or loses. Huh. Schoolyard was doubly surprised. He stared at Lin Yan closely and said, Lin Yan, how come you have become so strong? Lin Yan's talent, not to mention Skuyard, was well known to almost everyone on the Mobi. Although it is an excessive effort, in the end, the talent is limited to this, which makes people secretly regret it. Never thought about it. After taking away the dark fruit for a few days, Lin Yan's strength unexpectedly increased to the point where he could compare with himself. But Skuyard was only slightly shocked. He angrily rebuked. Thankfully, I used to think you were a good person, a person worthy of close friendship, and someone who can integrate into our entire family. I really didn't expect you to be so despicable. You don't have much talent, so you were accepted by Daddy as an exception, and you were promoted to the 4th team. In order to make sure that there is no barrier between you, Saki has taken enough care of you, right? What's the result? Is this how you compensate him? Quote. Lin Yan said guiltily. I am indeed sorry for Sa Chi about this matter. If you can, please say sorry to him on my behalf. Upon hearing this, Lin Yan not only dared to mention Sa Chi, but also apologized to Sa Chi on his behalf. Skuyard's heart was churning, he wished he could skin Lin Yan alive, he said. Absurd. Why do you ask me to bring you a message? Why do you dare to say such a thing? Thatch is dead. If you continue to capture me without restraint, I will ask you to go down and be buried with Saki right now. As soon as this statement came out, even Lin Yan couldn't help but be stunned. He looked at Skuyard in disbelief, and said with a horrified expression, what did you say? What happened to Saki? Skuyard gritted his teeth and his eyes burst out with anger. Now that things have happened, you are still so brazen. My patience has reached its limit. I just brutally killed Saki and made his body look like neither a human nor a ghost. You are an ungrateful guy who repays kindness with evil. If I don't kill you today, I, Skuyard, will not be a human being. Skuyard's eyes were full of determination, as if this battle would determine their life and death. With his roar, the battle broke out instantly. Skuyard rushed towards Lin Yan and slashed with his sword, making a crisp impact and sparks flying. His movements were agile and powerful, and every attack was full of power and skill. The sword's momentum was like a gust of wind, and it continuously attacked Lin Yan. Lin Yan responded calmly, using his dark fruit to deftly resist every attack. Skuyard's sword energy blasted out like a cannonball, with powerful force, directly hitting Lin Yan's body. Of course, his attack had no effect at all. Once the elements were transformed, the sword energy passed through Lin Yan's body. At this time, Lin Yan launched a counterattack and activated the secret fruit. In a moment, Skuyard was knocked back by this blow, but he did not give up. Instead, he readjusted his posture and attacked Lin Yan again. The collision of knives and fists continued, and the battle between the two became more and more intense. Skuyard used his special skills to capture the opponent and bring him back to the Mobi. But in the end, compared to Lin Yan, Skuyard's moral skills were inferior. With a muffled sound, Skuyard was kicked out by Lin Yan. Take advantage of this gap. Lin Yan explained. Skuyard, I didn't kill Saki. Skuyard held his numb chest, and there was a huge footprint on it. This made him even more angry, and he yelled at Lin Yan, who else would it be if it weren't for you? Why would you run away if it weren't for you? You traitor. Laozi wants to cut you to death with 1,000 knives. Lin Yan lowered his head, knowing that this was the situation. I am absolutely speechless. It was absolutely impossible to follow Skuyard back. Even if I jump into the Yellow River, I can't wash away the stigma on my head now. In the huge Whitebeard pirates, I don't know how many people want to kill me. The only thing that made him feel strange was, how could Saki die for no reason? Logically speaking, shouldn't he get through this disaster? Suddenly, Lin Yan raised his head suddenly. By the way, it's Teach, it must be him. It's not difficult to guess the rules and regulations. Teach has been coveting the dark fruit for a long time. He finally found a way, but he got there first. Thinking that the first person to get the dark fruit was Sa Chi, he became angry and killed Sa Chi. Yes. That must be it. Think of this. Lin Yan's face suddenly darkened. So far, Lin Yan also knew that his explanations were pale now, and the top priority was to get rid of Skuyard in front of him. He has clearly seen that Skuyard's subordinates are reporting to the Whitebeard pirates. If you stay here for a long time, I'm afraid the other members of the Whitebeard pirates will arrive here next. As it stands now, he is definitely no match for them. Think of this. Lin Yan no longer held back. In an instant, he turned into a flash of light and attacked Skuyard with lightning speed. Skuyard was not afraid, holding a long knife in his hand, and cut in front of him. If there was still room for negotiation before. So this time, Lin Yan used all his strength. With just one move, Skuyard was knocked over. This ability. Skuyard was shocked, and he quickly reacted. This devil fruit is really not simple. No wonder you would choose to take the risk, kill Saki in this way, and take this fruit from his hands. Skuyard didn't pay attention to Lin Yan at all before. After all, no matter how strong Lin Yan was, in the end, he was just like that. Even if he was at a disadvantage in the fight just now, Skuyard still believed that he had the capital to make a comeback. But with Lin Yan now at full strength, he knocked himself down in less than a second. Skuyard also suddenly realized, Lin Yan has already surpassed him, far surpassing him in terms of strength. Looking at Skuyard who fell to the ground, Lin Yan explained again, I have indeed been waiting for this devil fruit for many years, but Skuyard, you have to know that Captain Saki has been kind to me. I will never attack Captain Thatch for this devil fruit. HMPH, do you think I will believe your sophistry? Skuyard's attitude remained the same from beginning to end. Since you keep saying that you were wronged, then tell me who killed Captain Sage. It's Teach. Lin Yan said the name without politeness. Although he also knows that if he wants to convince the other party, the chance is very slim. This is the current situation. Everyone on the entire Whitebeard Pirates. There is no reason to believe that Teach did this. Sure enough. After hearing this name, Skuyard suddenly laughed. He raised his long knife, pointed at Lin Yan and shouted, Teach. You are so anxious that you have already started biting people. In order to avenge Teach, Teach is the person in our Whitebeard Pirates who wants to kill you the most. Now you actually want to frame him. Hear this answer. Lin Yan narrowed his eyes. You don't need to think about it to know that Teach has done everything possible for his dark fruit. In the past, I didn't know where the Anin fruit was, but now I know that the Anin fruit is in my hands. It is expected that he will make a big fuss about himself. Become stronger. It's the only way to survive. For such a situation. Lin Yan was not surprised. He also knew that there was no point in continuing to say this. Lin Yan took a deep breath and said, Skuyard, I think you should have seen that you are no match for me. At the same time, you can't catch me, and I don't want to get entangled with you anymore. Skuyard sneered, I have used the phone bug to contact other people. Are you afraid that other captains of the Whitebeard Pirates are about to arrive? Yes and no. Lin Yan raised his hand, and a wisp of black smoke turned into his hand, strangled Skuyard's neck, and then lifted him up. If possible, I wouldn't mind using you as a bargaining chip for blackmail and a means of escape. Delusion. Skuyard's expression changed. He naturally knew what Lin Yan was thinking, and he said fiercely. You have no right to choose. Lin Yan said calmly. As he held and strangled Skuyard's neck, the other members of the large fleet around him did not dare to continue to take action. Lin Yan also said unceremoniously, arrange a ship for me, or I will strangle him to death right now. Said. The hand holding Skuyard's neck tightened a little more. Seeing Skuyard's face turned red. The members of the large fleet thought for a while and arranged a boat for Lin Yan. Lin Yan was not polite and took Skuyard directly to the ship. After boarding the ship, Lin Yan released Skuyard directly. Skuyard's face darkened, and he was a little surprised. You actually let me go. It started from the moment he was captured alive by Lin Yan. Skuyard knew that he was probably in danger. After all, just how Sage died. It was difficult for him not to have so-called prejudice against Lin Yan. He has even done it. If there is a chance later, he will definitely lure Lin Yan into the water. At worst, both Jade and Stone will be destroyed. It is enough to live this life in this world. Recalling the honor that my father brought me. For the Whitebeard Pirates. Skuyard can ignore anything. Unexpectedly, when he was ready for everything. Lin Yan did the opposite. This also made his expression change. The look he looked at Lin Yan was very strange. Why not? Lin Yan looked at Skuyard in front of him, and he continued, we don't have any deep hatred, right? Skuyard took a deep breath. Although he was lucky enough to survive, he did not pay the bill. Humph, stop pretending here. I won't thank you for killing Captain Sage and this humiliation. If I have a chance in the future, I will definitely repay you 100 times. Hearing this, Lin Yan nodded. I will give you this opportunity. If you want to come, then go ahead. If you still think you have the strength in the future. Now that I have obtained the dark fruit and activated the system. Not to mention Skuyard. Even the other division captains in the Whitebeard pirates. Lin Yan is also completely confident that he will be out of reach of them. What's more, it is not impossible to sit on the four emperors' position that countless people have spent their whole lives on. Skeward, I would like to ask you to give Dad a message. As they were leaving, Lin Yan couldn't help but speak again. You are really brave, Skuyard shouted. No matter how angry Skeward was, Lin Yan said to himself, I do covet Sachi's devil fruit, and it was me who stole it, but I can promise Dad that from the beginning to the end, I didn't. He has no intention of killing Captain Saki, let alone anyone in the Whitebeard pirates. I will never forget the kindness he cultivated back then. If there is a crisis in the future for the Whitebeard pirates, I will definitely do my best to help. After finishing this sentence, a lone boat slowly sailed towards the sea. Skuyard and a group of people in the large fleet were left looking at the sea in front of them with complicated expressions. Skuyard's frown gradually relaxed. Just this series of actions by Lin Yan. It was obvious that he was not the real culprit behind the murder of Captain Sage. And according to Lin Yan's character in the past, he was definitely not such a person. Either he is not discerning enough and cannot see through Lin Yan's disguise. Or, maybe there's something fishy about this. Lin Yan, did he really say that? On the Moby, there was a huge chair in the center of the entire deck. Whitebeard was sitting on the chair, drinking water, and listening to Skeward's report below. Skuyard nodded. Exactly. Dad, this. Marco looked at Whitebeard. Could it be that they really misunderstood Lin Yan? Not to mention Skuyard, in fact, even they couldn't believe that this was something Lin Yan could do. After all, the relationship between Lin Yan and Sa Chi is so friendly. At least not something that can be practiced on the surface. Certainly. They think so. Doesn't mean other people would think so. Unforgettable. Will you help our Whitebeard pirates when we encounter a crisis in the future? What a foolish dream. Some cadres had sneers on their faces, especially those in the 4th Division. Many people hated Lin Yan deeply and even spoke tit for tat. That's right. What qualifications does he have to say such a thing? Saki is a person who has been with us for so many years. But because of a devil fruit, he killed him on the spot. Lin Yan is just a villain. Some other members of the Whitebeard pirates followed closely and echoed, all with hatred for Lin Yan on their faces. Under their influence, many division captains also began to hate Lin Yan. I wish I could arrest him now and bring him to justice. But, while the people below were still busy expressing their opinions, Whitebeard was not moved by this. He supported his chin with one hand and stroked the chair with the other. His brows were furrowed and his face was depressed. After living for so many years, he became the 4 emperors of the New World, and was praised by countless people as one of the 3 great pirates of the old era. Although his strength has declined in recent years, he no longer has the sharp edge he once had. He is half buried in the ground at sunset, drinking water every day, and even wine has been banned by Marco and the others. But even so, Whitebeard's vision of people is never bad. When Sa Chi died, he was naturally angrier than ever before. The burst of energy almost tore the entire Moby to pieces. The target of the attack was pointed at Lin Yan, and he almost started a riot. But after a few days of settling, he recalled what Lin Yan had done on the Moby. Lin Yan is not the kind of person who can do the same thing. Moreover, the two of them were in the 4th Division. They didn't say they were brothers, but they also cherished each other. It was precisely because Lin Yan was handling the affairs within the division that the 4th Division was able to thrive. This was an atmosphere that other divisions never had. Said without politeness. As long as Lin Yan says he wants the dark fruit, Sa Chi would definitely not hide it secretly. Thinking of Lin Yan's hard work over the years, it could only support him to get here. If you can rely on the dark fruits to make further progress. Not only will he give it, he will even offer it with generous hands. Plus, what Skuyard brought back was sound. Apart from the dark fruit, Lin Yan really had no reason to attack Sa Chi. This also made Whitebeard fall into deep thought. Could it be? Is it really not his doing? But since it's not Lin Yan, so who killed Sage? Who will kill Sage? What good does Sachi's death do to someone? My thoughts seemed to be knotted. Whitebeard was a little confused. This matter is definitely not as simple as imagined. Marco. After a long silence, Whitebeard spoke. Dad. Marco stepped forward quickly. Whitebeard glanced at the distant sky, and a ray of light shot out from his eyes, like a dragon rising out of the sea and flying thousands of miles into the sky. He said calmly, "Where is Ace now?" Marco was stunned for a moment, and then quickly replied, "Ace is currently looking for Lin Yan all over the world. Ever since the Sachi incident. It wasn't just Teach who was looking for Lin Yan like crazy. The same goes for Ace. After all, that was the day Saki died. He was also on that ship. So far, Ace is very remorseful. If only I hadn't been drunk that day, if I was still somewhat sober that day. He would never let such a tragedy happen in front of him. But all this, it's too late. Only in the endless pursuit can Ace get rid of the guilt in his heart." After a moment of silence, Whitebeard continued, "Let Ace come back." As soon as these words came out, other officers around the Mobi were a little confused. "Dad, why is this?" After Skuyard contacted other squad leaders through the phone bug, Ace rushed towards the deserted island almost immediately. Now, in order to find Lin Yan, Ace almost risked his life. Now that Ace is told to withdraw, Ace is unwilling to do so, and they are also unwilling to do so. I have carefully considered this matter, and the probability of Lin Yan taking action is too small. Even if all the spearheads are pointed at him, even if he is after a secret fruit, I still have an intuition that this matter was not done by him. Either we misunderstood, or something happened midway. Whitebeard expressed his thoughts. But Dad, you also said that this is just your guess. What if it is really Lin Yan? Yeah, maybe he was afraid of us, so he asked Skuyard to send the message. Dad, you must not believe his tricks. Whether it's reasonable or not, I just know that I will definitely avenge Saki. The cadres still wanted to stick to their opinions, with unprecedented hatred in their eyes. Marco touched his chin, as if he had figured something out, and asked, "Dad, what do you want to do?" Whitebeard breathed out and glanced at the water pump next to him. The water in the tube above the water tank was continuously gathering towards his body. He said, "With Lin Yan's character and his hard work over the years, now after getting the dark fruit, your strength has definitely improved to a new level. Soon, Ace may not be his opponent. When you call Ace back, remember to release some news to the outside world, just say." At this point, Whitebeard paused, withdrew his gaze, and looked at Marco. "I just want to meet Lin Yan. More than anything else, I want to see how he explains it face to face. Of course, if he agrees." The cadres and crew members chatted endlessly, and they were particularly puzzled by Whitebeard's behavior. Marco didn't think too much. He nodded heavily. "I understand. Dad, you are right." While talking, blue gold flames bloomed behind him. Putting one foot on the deck, Marco rose into the air, his whole body turned into an eagle, and quickly flew away into the distance. Watching Marcos leaving back, Whitebeard closed his eyes again, and the entire deck of the Moby fell into silence again. Aside, Josie and Beasta did not speak. Unlike others, they were also the people who got along closest with Lin Yan. Whitebeard didn't believe that they were not like this. If there is a chance. Naturally, they also hope to confront Lin Yan face to face. Stepping on a lonely boat, crossing the ocean. Lin Yan looked at the sea in front of him. He didn't know whether Skuyard would tell Whitebeard what he said. At the same time, he didn't know whether Whitebeard would kill him even after hearing what he said. The hunt for oneself. Now, the bad fate has arisen, and the only way to improve your strength is to work hard. Character. Lin Yan. Talent. Outstanding. Fruit. Dark Fruit, LV 15. Ability. Physical Skills, LV 35. Hockey. Armed Hockey, LV 20. Knowledge Hockey, LV 15. Conqueror's Hockey, LV 15. Obviously, these attribute points of one's own. It's not enough to compete with the people in the Whitebeard Pirates. After searching and searching on the sea, Lin Yan once again found a desert island. He hid in it and practiced hard. In the blink of an eye. Half a month passed like this. I had practiced for half a month before, and now I have been practicing for half a month. It just so happened that the task had reached a bottleneck. Congratulations to host for completing the side mission, evading pursuit. Winning the B-level lottery. Congratulations to host for completing the side mission, practicing hard. Winning the C-level lottery. The B-level rewards are being drawn, the drawing is complete. Congratulations to host for getting 1 year of training experience. The C-level rewards are being drawn, the drawing is complete. Congratulations to host for getting half a year of training experience. Several rays of energy are emitted from the system, and these energies are integrated into his body. In just a moment, Lin Yan felt that he had accumulated a lot of practice experience. Strength is rising steadily. Character: Lin Yan. Talent: outstanding. Fruit: dark fruit, LV 21. Ability: physical skills, LV 37. Hockey: armed hockey, LV 24. Knowledge hockey, LV 21. Conqueror's hockey, LV 21. Lin Yan immediately brought up his system panel. Watch the numbers on the panel increase again. He couldn't help but smile. What do you lack most now? Nothing is better than the improvement of strength. And this time, whether it is a B level reward or a C level reward, almost all of them are related to training experience. Why is he unhappy? Ding, it is detected that the host side task has been completed and a new side task is being released. Heard this movement. Lin Yan returned to the system and took a look. Sure enough. In the taskbar, I saw a red exclamation point beating. Click in and take a look. A new mission has been posted. Main mission: establish a pirate group. Request: as a pirate, what can you do without a pirate group? Host is requested to have an exquisite ship as a navigation tool as soon as possible. The staff should be at least 5 people including host, and ensure that everyone has influence in the original work. Achieved level A. Reward: S-level lottery. Side mission: defeat peers. New request: there is only so much territory. If you don't take it, someone will. Please host defeat a pirate group and ask the other party to put a total reward of more than 20 million Baileys. Reward: B-level lottery. Side mission: recruit crew. New request: is it the style of a great captain to be a loner? Host: please recruit a crew member as soon as possible to integrate more new people into your team. Rewards: no limit. Judgment based on recruiting characters. The stronger the influence of the original work, the more generous the rewards will be. Side mission: practice hard. Request: please host to practice hard for a month. Reward: C-level lottery. Compared to before, this time, 3 new tasks have been refreshed. Except for the last part of cultivate hard, which is repeated. Almost everything else required Lin Yan to do it himself. Certainly. His eyes immediately fell on the third task of recruiting sailors. Especially its final prompt, reward: unlimited. After thinking for a moment, he understood it at a glance. In other words, as long as the other party's influence in the original work is stronger, the rewards you will receive will be very generous. If you recruit an ordinary person yourself, you may only get the lowest C-level reward. But what if I recruit a general-level person? Maybe S-level rewards are possible. How could this not surprise Lin Yan? This reward. He looked very satisfied. But problems also arise. General, will you agree to your invitation? Don't say anything else. With my own strength, I am afraid that I would really encounter a strong man at the level of a general. There should be no scum left in the seconds, right? Should be removed. People are greedy after all. Lin Yan is no exception. He really started to think about how he could use the task of recruiting crew members to directly rush into the ranks of S-level rewards, and then make a lot of money. Looking around the world, there are only a few people at the general level. And at this time, the 2 Fujitora Green Bulls, who have not yet gone through the world conscription, joined the ranks of Marine. If you are eloquent enough, it is not impossible to attack them. But as soon as the thought came up, Lin Yan snuffed it out. Regardless of whether they agree or not, where should I go to find them? Lin Yan tilted his head, then shook his head helplessly. Seemingly. It seems that there is really no way. But then I thought about it. Lin Yan suddenly raised his head again, and murmured to himself, by the way, why do I always focus on strength to draw conclusions? Doesn't the system say that the stronger the influence, the richer the rewards? It doesn't necessarily have to be about strength, other places may also be important factors that affect the system rating. Yes. That must be it. Think of this. Lin Yan looked towards the East China Sea. Luffy. You haven't gone to sea yet. It's not like recruiting Luffy. Luffy's temperament is not meant to be used as a subordinate. But those people below Luffy. For example, Nami Robin or something, Lin Yan has been coveting for a long time. Did they have enough influence? Their abilities are also very outstanding, one is sailing and the other is tomb robbing. Lin Yan's eyes shot out a bright light, and his smile became more and more intense. Sorry. Luffy's eldest nephew. I will decide your chance. Cocoa West Village. The headquarters of the Dragon Pirates. The castle was in a mess, and there were sores everywhere where one could see. Who are you? As one of the cadres of the Dragon Pirates, Marine offered a bounty of 9 million belly. Kruby looked at the man in front of him with his hands behind his back and shouted in horror. Today. Because they went out to plunder. Eren and Hachi took away most of the Dragon Pirates. As one of the main cadres, Kruby stayed with some of his men to guard the base camp. Unexpectedly, today, uninvited guests are here. First, he had to deal with the remaining members of the Dragon Pirates. Even he was not his enemy. I didn't meet Eren. What a bad luck. The person standing in front of Kruby was naturally Lin Yan. Ben unexpectedly killed the Dragon Pirates in one fell swoop. Unexpectedly, the other party was not in Cocoa West Village at all. Not bad, not bad. Because I went out to collect rent. Eren escaped by luck. Certainly. Although I haven't encountered it. It's not like Kruby's head is incorrigible. Upon hearing the other party's question, Lin Yan glanced at him and said in a cold tone, go to the King of Hell and ask. Say it. The knife fell from the hand. Just listen to the blood spilling out like a fountain. As the second in command of the Dragon Pirates. Kruby's head fell and he rolled several times on the ground. The thick white liquid mixed with blood dyed the land red. Kruby died on a chair in the castle. 2 days later. When Eren returned to the headquarters of the Dragon Pirates with a lot of jewelry. However, the scene before my eyes. But Eren's eyes were filled with anger. On the chair in the castle, Kruby, who had long turned into a headless corpse, had died. Kruby's right and left, as well as other remaining defenders, all died on the spot. Kroabi. What happened? Someone must have attacked our base camp while we were away. Who did it? The cadres of the Dragon Pirates all climbed up instantly with their eyes filled with anger and restless auras. They are still like this, let alone Eren. The muscles in his body were tense everywhere, veins popped out, his teeth were clenched, and his eyes were full of anger. Don't let me know who you are. Same day. Throughout Cocoa West Village, all vigilance has been raised to a new level. Around the island, there are 3 layers of boats inside and 3 layers outside. The sudden movements of the Dragon Pirates also made the villagers nervous. The other side of the East China Sea. In an old tavern. People come and go in an endless stream, and noisy sounds come and go, and the sounds are heard. The water spilled from the colliding wine glasses shone on the ground. People of all colors toasted to celebrate, their faces were full of joy, and the inside of the tavern was even more joyful. At this time, in the aisle of the tavern, I saw an orange-haired girl walking lightly through the crowds of people coming and going. She was holding a plate in her hand, with several buckets of wine on it. The aroma of the wine was fragrant, lingering in this huge tavern. The girl was wearing a white shirt and a clean skirt, with a slight smile on her face and light makeup. She walked gently with a scent of fragrance. This appearance was somewhat incompatible with the rough and arrogant men around her. The girl was obviously a newly hired employee here. She quickly came to a table and placed the wine glass on the table of the black-haired man in front of her. She smiled sweetly and said, "Guest, please use it slowly." The black-haired man glanced at the orange-haired girl indifferently and said with a smile, "Do you have any other charging methods in this pub?" The girl was stunned for a moment, tilted her head, and replied rather cutely, "Why did the guest say this?" Although she said this, she quickly hid a money bag and put it into the rather material gap on her chest. There is a cute expression on her face. If an ordinary person sees the girl like this, he will feel relaxed and happy. Pity. The black-haired man was not moved by all this. He continued, Since there is no other way to charge, why should you withhold money from me? Nami rolled his eyes. Although he was surprised, his face remained calm. Guest, please stop asking me riddles. What do you want to say? Lin Yan poured himself a glass of wine and said, shouldn't you know it very well? What do I know? You really want me to say it? Nami thought for a while, then changed the subject and said, Guest, are you not satisfied with this drink? If you are not satisfied, I will give you another one now. With that said, Nami wanted to put away the drink in front of Lin Yan. Lin Yan raised his hand to stop her. A friendly reminder, if you take my things, you will get into trouble. Guest, you drank too much. Nami smiled in apology, and then quickly pulled away and left Lin Yan's table. After confirming that she was already some distance away from Lin Yan, Nami patted her chest and let out a long breath. To say that his method was discovered by that weird man. Nami would never believe it. Nothing else. She was confident in her ability to steal. And if you were an ordinary person and lost money accidentally, you would definitely yell, such as, who stole my money? And other nonsense. Moreover, if he was really sure that he had taken away his money bag, he would have taken action immediately to take it back from him instead of talking to him calmly like he did. Thinking of this, Nami also felt relieved a lot. It became an order again. Oh. Mei, 2 more bottles of wine will be given to table 2. From the kitchen, the boss's voice came over. Coming. Nami waved his hand and ran towards the kitchen again. Out and about. Especially in this high-risk profession. How could there be no trumpet? Mei is naturally a pseudonym of Nami. When heading to the kitchen, Nami had 2 more money bags in her hands. Glancing at the 2 big men who were still unaware of the seriousness of the problem, Nami raised the corner of her mouth, stuffed the bag back into the same place again, and slipped into the back kitchen without a trace. Seeing Nami's skillful technique, Lin Yan twitched the corner of his mouth. He was worthy of the name of a little thieving cat. He took a sip of wine, not to mention, no wonder the business of this pub was booming. Just this 10-mile fragrant drink will surely bring many repeat customers. With so many obvious targets, it's no wonder Nami came here to work as a temporary worker. But, no matter how flawless Nami is at what she does, things will eventually come to light. There was restlessness in the crowd, and some people shouted sharply, where is my money bag? But I saw the man frantically searching his body, but there was no trace of the money bag at all. As the first person shouted, a stone stirred up 1,000 waves. The other people immediately realized that there was a thief in the tavern. Thieves can be found anywhere. Especially in this era when you can't scan QR codes and use WeChat, almost everyone has a money bag when they go out. Because of this, money bags are more likely to be missed by thieves. Many people also started to check their money bags. It would be better not to check. After reading this, a large number of people's eyes went dark. My money is gone. Mine too. What? You are all gone. Wait, my horse rider is also gone. There is a thief in this tavern. After seeing their money bags disappear, everyone present became angry and howled like a wolf after discovering that there were no chopsticks in the takeaway. An infinite anger spurted out from their eyes, their faces were ferocious, and they cursed in circles, wishing to cut the thief into pieces. At this time, I saw 2 strong men clanging and guarding the door of the tavern. One of the strong men said angrily, if the mastermind behind it is not found out, no one can get out of this door. Perhaps it's because thieves are rampant these days, and this tavern is full of business. To be cautious, the only exit is in the direction of the tavern door. Lin Yan looked in the direction of Nami. The latter frowned, his face was pale, his eyes were wandering and flickering, and then he lowered his pretty face, biting his teeth, not knowing what he was thinking. Holding his head with one hand, Lin Yan smiled casually, there's a good show to watch. As these 2 big men guard the door, other people who have lost their money also rise up, and it is bound to find out the mastermind behind the scenes. They are divided into 2 teams. A team searched the tavern to prevent thieves from hiding their money. Another team searched the person at the scene, and no leaks were leaked, and no concessions were made. Think about it, the person who stole the money either hid the money in a secret compartment of the tavern or carried it with him. As long as you look for these 2 signs, you can always find out the culprit. When the owner of the tavern saw this scene, he was willing to cooperate fully in order to ensure business. That's all. A group of people swept through the tavern in great force. Just less than half an hour. Almost everyone at the scene has been checked out, and it will soon fall on Nami. Seeing this scene, Lin Yan couldn't help but sit up straight. He wanted to see how Nami avoided the disaster that was about to befall her next. But Lin Yan didn't even think of it. The next second, Nami taught herself a lesson. How about being a professional thief cat? Nami suddenly sat down on the ground, then started sobbing, tears streaming down her face uncontrollably. She originally had a girlish style of painting, and her lowly style is very eye-catching. Before adding, he treated everyone in the tavern warmly and hospitably. As well as his previous status as a temporary worker, he must have come out to seek a living because of family difficulties. Her delicate pretty face was filled with tears. Who doesn't feel heartbroken after seeing this? And her sobbing voice just fell into the ears of the searching men. The big man stepped forward quickly and asked with a distressed look on his face, "Little sister, what's wrong?" Nami didn't speak, just sobbing. The further back you go, the louder the sobbing sounds become. Who can withstand this? The big man tried his best to use gentle words, and comforted him. "Little sister, don't cry, don't cry. If you have any difficulties, just tell us." Lin Yan nodded secretly, seriously, life is like a play, it all depends on acting skills. When the scene was almost over, Nami stopped crying, but even so, her body was twitching and shaking. While wiping her tears, she replied in a low voice, "My family is in trouble. I came here to make a living. My boss saw me as pitiful, so he gave me a daily allowance. I will be given as much money as I can entertain as many guests as I can today. I didn't expect that. Now something like this has happened. I can't make any money, how can I go back and explain to the people at home?" Listening to Nami's explanation, other people couldn't help but feel a little lost. If they do this, the boss will definitely not make much money today. The boss doesn't make much money, so he naturally can't give Nami a certain daily salary. This also makes them unbearable. How about, just forget it? Yes, this little sister is so pitiful, why don't we just let it go? We did have some impact on the boss's business. That's right. Who wouldn't throw some money when you go out? This small amount of money is nothing. Little sister, please stop crying, okay? Uncle will give you candy. Under Nami's acting skills, the sound of a wolf howling like a chopstick lost in a takeaway disappeared in the blink of an eye. Look at Nami's appearance, driven by machismo. The money I lost, I really didn't want it anymore. Really? Nami choked, rubbing her eyes. Of course it's true. Yes, uncles will not lie to you. Others continued to comfort him. Thank you so much. You are all good people. Nami quickly wiped away her tears and put a smile on her face again. I don't know why, but the moment I heard Nami calling out, "Good guy," everyone present felt that a candle was lit in their hearts, and their whole heart was illuminated with warmth, giving them an indescribable sense of comfort. Then, can I go? Nami asked. Let's go, little sister. We won't search you. The two big men shouted in unison, with anti-smiles on their faces. Thank you so much. Nami thanked her and walked towards the door. However, just when Nami was about to step out the door, Lin Yan's fingertips lit up with a black flame, and the dark fruit activated silently. In the gap between Nami's chest, something suddenly rolled. Feeling the strangeness coming from her body, Nami's expression changed. Just listen to, clang. A money bag passed through her clothes, passed over her waist, and fell out from under her skirt. You know, what's in the money bag? Although there were many Baileys, most of them were just broken pieces of silver and gold coins, which fell to the ground. The crisp sound was like an orchid in an empty valley or a temple bell, resounding throughout the entire tavern in the blink of an eye. Seeing a bag of things falling out of Nami's skirt, everyone present looked at the money bag at Nami's feet. Some people are still a little confused, why does this money bag look familiar? Nami was shocked and quickly picked up the money bag on the ground and explained, everyone, I just said that I am working as a temporary worker for the owner of this pub. The boss will pay me a salary. It is very reasonable. The people present heard this, perhaps because they had just experienced Nami's actress-level performance, and couldn't help but nodded. It seems, it should be, almost, quite reasonable. Lin Yan's fingertips slid again, and the dark fruit was released again. There was another, clang, sound, and the second money bag fell out from under the skirt. Why does this money bag look like? There is a pink bear pattern on the money bag, and the big man who just searched his body raised his eyebrows. Nami's eyes widened. Why did he jump out again? She hurriedly picked up the money bag again, almost suppressing her trembling and explaining, as I just told everyone, the boss sees me as pitiful and gives me an extra salary. It's very reasonable. Once is fine, twice is a bit fishy. Lin Yan was not polite and just snapped his fingers. Wow. For some reason, Nami loosened her belt and all the money bags stuffed inside fell out from under her skirt like dumplings. This. No. Don't. Nami exclaimed for a moment, even though she tried her best to hug her body and try her best not to reveal her money bag, but it was obviously too late. Around Nami, people from all walks of life in the tavern gathered together with their lost money bags. At this moment, if you really can't see it, then these people have almost lived most of their lives in vain. It's you are the little thief. It turns out you stole our money. What a shame. You pretended to be like this and lied to us. It's a shame I trusted you so much just now. The big B. The old grandson, just. In an instant, the storm surged, and everyone directed their anger towards Nami. They lost their money bag and were almost deceived. How could they swallow this sigh of relief? Just when they were about to vent their anger on Nami. But look up. Nami had already wandered away without a trace. Only the two shuttered doors of the tavern were left shaking slowly. He rushed all the way out in one breath. Nami has nothing but excellent escape skills. There is no way. If you are not strong enough, you have to be quick with your legs and feet. Otherwise, with the things you have done, who knows what will happen to you. Looking back, Nami let out a sigh of relief after confirming that no one was following. Reaching out to touch her waist, Nami's expression suddenly changed. While trying to escape, she lost the kettle. Nami was extremely upset. Without the kettle, how could he store fresh water supplies on this vast ocean? Just when Nami was in distress. Suddenly, a hand stretched out from the tree overhead, holding a kettle in that hand. Thanks. Nami was already extremely thirsty, so she subconsciously caught it, but the moment she was about to open it, she was suddenly startled, and immediately looked up in the direction of the source of the kettle. But he saw a young man looking at him with a smile on the tree in front of him. The person coming was none other than Lin Yan. Who impressed Nami the most in the tavern? I am afraid that this guy was the only one who discovered his theft immediately. Is it you? Nami's desire to drink water stopped abruptly. She could not drink even if she opened the kettle, nor could she drink even if she didn't. What an honor. I didn't expect that the little thieving cat would actually remember me. Lin Yan's face was full of smiles. He looked at Nami in front of him in a condescending manner, and at the same time added, thanks to you, in the tavern, but it gave me a good show. Nami's pupils were shocked, and she thought it was just a coincidence that Lin Yan discovered her theft. Now when Lin Yan directly called out the code name of Marine's bounty for him, Nami finally realized that the man in front of him had probably already figured out his identity. Who are you? Nami frowned and took a step back, trying to distance herself, as if this could reassure herself. Lin Yan glanced at Nami. Are you serious about taking half a step back? He continued. Looking at how out of breath you are, drink some water first. Nami looked at the kettle. She didn't dare to drink the water inside. What if something is added to it? Don't be nervous, there is nothing evil in the kettle, don't worry. Lin Yan could see what Nami was thinking at a glance and explained. Unfortunately, Nami is not willing to pay the bill. To this, Lin Yan didn't force it either. Nami asked, are you from Marine? If anyone could target him now, it would be the person he stole from, or Marine. But when he was in the tavern just now, he stole Lin Yan's money bag, but the other party didn't pierce it. I expected that it would be the first time that I met the other person. Since he was not the one who had things stolen from him, the only explanation was that the other party was most likely from Marine. Marine. These two words have mixed feelings for Nami. My own adoptive mother once worked for Marine. What a pity. But it ended up like that in the end. This also resulted in Nami not being very friendly towards Marine. Looking at Lin Yan in front of her, Nami seemed to be in contact with the past while being alert, and the sadness in her eyes could not help but reveal itself. Lin Yan was surprised. How could he be related to Marine? I'm not Marine. Lin Yan shook his head in denial. Hearing this, Nami was surprised. He wasn't from Marine. Then why did you come to me? Suddenly, Nami looked at Lin Yan strangely and covered her body with her hands. You are not plotting against me, are you? Lin Yan jumped down from the tree and walked up to Nami. Under Nami's surprised gaze, you are quite narcissistic. However, Lin Yan didn't give in. After making a complaint, he went straight to the point and said, I want to invite you to join my pirate group. As soon as this statement came out, Nami frowned. Although not very friendly to Marine. After all, Nami has seen how corrupt Donghai Marine is. But how corrupt are they? After all, his adoptive mother is also one of the Marines. There are also quite a few Marines who have worked with their foster mothers. It left a good childhood impression on Nami. But when talking about pirates, Nami immediately thought of the dragon pirates. While doing business with Marine, he committed murder and arson in Cocoa West Village, doing all kinds of evil. Nami looked at the carving on his shoulder. The engraving is the mark that attracts the attention of the dragon pirates. Every time she thinks about it, she feels disgusted. Knowing Lin Yan's identity as a pirate, Nami's tone turned cold. It turns out that you are a pirate, so I have to disappoint you and ask me to join your pirate group. Don't even think about it. After saying that, Nami added, you pirates don't have any good stuff. Lin Yan had already expected this scene before coming here. Needless to say, Nami's attitude towards pirates. If you want to recruit him into your pirate group, you will naturally have to spend some effort. What a coincidence. In this regard, Lin Yan has a lot of confidence. He asked, really don't want to? Nami's eyes were firm. I don't want to die. Don't you want to hear about my offer to you? How can you be paid? With that said, Nami turned around and walked straight away. Lin Yan looked at Nami's back, he smiled, and then said calmly, I can help you kill the dragon pirates. The sound turned into a gust of wind and floated into Nami's ears. The moment I heard these words, Nami's heart that was about to leave suddenly stopped. The steps stopped in place. Under the sunlight, the shadow forms a sharp contrast with her. After a moment of silence, Nami resisted the throbbing in her heart and turned around. What did you say? I believe you can understand what I mean. There are some things I don't want to say a second time. Lin Yan came to the side and sat down on the big rock. His eyes were blazing, like the scorching sun in the sky, and he stared at Nami so fiercely that she dared not look directly at her. He said, Miss Nami, I'm waiting for you. Answer. Quote. Nami clenched her fists and her body was shaking. What Nami hopes to achieve most now is to drive those evil gangs and the entire dragon pirates out of Cocoa West Village. After seeing Nami's excellent sailing ability, the fishman Aaron also made an offer to Nami. One is to join his pirate group, and the other is to collect 100 million belly. To protect the villagers. In order to collect 100 million belly. Nami embarks on this road of no return. At such a young age, she has been running around the vast East China Sea day and night. This is also the reason why Nami was named a little thief cat by Marine, was put a reward by Marine for theft, and was exiled in the East China Sea. Everything she does. It's nothing more than trying to pass a verbal agreement that cannot withstand scrutiny. It is hoped that the fish man Aaron can be magnanimous. Use 100 million belly to spare yourself. Spare the villagers of Kokoyasi village. Honestly. The moment Lin Yan said these words, Nami was extremely surprised at first. It never occurred to her. The man in front of me whom I met for the first time. I can actually understand the secret behind this. Nami was a little moved. If what this guy says is true, then I can help the villagers solve all their difficulties now. Get rid of the shackles of the dragon pirates. But then I thought about it. Nami was disappointed again. It was the first time that I met the man in front of me. Why should the other party help me? Moreover, Nami is getting closer and closer to 100 million belly. As long as you persist for a while to collect all the funds. In the end, it must be possible. You can let Aaron let go of himself and the folks in Kokoyasi village. You're thinking that you're already close to collecting 100 million belly, so why not continue on this path and give it a try, right? At this time, as if he saw Nami's thoughts, Lin Yan spoke. Nami's eyes tightened, and then she lowered her head. No answer, but no denial either. Stop dreaming. If I were Aaron, not only you, but also the 100 million belly in your hand, and the entire villagers of Kokoyasi village. Having said this, Lin Yan paused and made a fist with one hand. I want them all. No. Impossible. Aaron wouldn't do that. Nami tried her best to defend. You've already said that none of the pirates are good. In fact, you know their style better than anyone else, right? Lin Yan smiled, as if there was a demon hiding in his eyes, a vicious dog from hell that devoured a city alive, leaving no bones behind. The scene was so horrifying that it made people shudder. Nami's face turned pale, unable to prove herself. Naturally, Nami spent some time in the Dragon Pirates. What is their style of doing things? I know better. In the final analysis, Nami just wants to give herself some comfort and sustenance. But as Lin Yan told the naked truth, tear off her last disguise. Nami stopped talking, but her breathing became more and more rapid. Under Lin Yan's words, she seemed to have seen the predetermined ending, and her heart was entangled in every possible way, struggling in the mud. She asked, why should I trust you? Wow. The moment Nami said these words. But I saw a round object being thrown over. The blood was mixed with white liquid, and the head rolled several times on the ground, covered with a lot of dust. Nami was shocked. Then, she felt that the head looked familiar. Take a closer look. Then Nami's face was shocked. There was a roar in my heart. Waves all over the sky rippled in my heart. He shouted out loud. Kroabi, this. Her beautiful eyes widened and she looked at Lin Yan in disbelief. You killed him. As the second in command of the Dragon Pirates. Colonized Kokoyasi village for many years. For such people. How could Nami not know him? You went to Koko West village. Her voice was trembling. Is it hard to see? Lin Yan nodded simply. Nami was shocked and speechless. Let's talk about the beginning. She still had concerns. After all, the man in front of him was not an exaggeration to describe as strange. But then she saw Krubi's head. Nami also suddenly realized. He has the ability to defeat the Dragon Pirates. After a brief moment of shock, Nami suppressed the throbbing, trying to calm down. Why are you doing this? As my crew, you should have a meeting gift. Let me introduce myself again. My name is Lin Yan. What do you think of this gift, Ms. Nami? Just want to invite me on board. Otherwise, my crew is in trouble. As a captain, I can't just turn a blind eye, right? Nami no longer knows how to describe her current situation. Able to go to Koko West village alone and take off the head of the second in command of the Dragon Pirates. It was enough to prove Lin Yan's strength. Now, Nami is like a ray of dawn in the dark clouded sky. The warmth spread over her body made her world glow again. But very quickly, recalling the fish man Aaron's strength far beyond that of humans, Nami couldn't help but lowered his head. Such people. It is impossible for ordinary people to defeat it. He is the culprit who threatens Koko West village. He is the devil that has been surrounding Nami's heart. I appreciate your kindness, but the fish man Aaron, he is very strong. Yeah, I know. And the dragon pirates behind us, everyone in them is extraordinary. Well, I know that too. What's more important is that he has Marine's back. Even Marine can't do anything to them. Anything else you want to add? Nami calmed down for a while, then she asked, I would like to ask, how many helpers do you have now? Lin Yan chuckled. What kind of help do you need to deal with a mere pirate from the East China Sea? In one word, one person is enough. Nami opened her mouth. I was speechless for a long time. Nami reminded. They own an entire pirate group. Lin Yan glanced at Nami and said calmly, so what? And, so what? Listening to Lin Yan's domineering words, Nami was so shocked that she fell to the ground. Lin Yan repeated again, Miss Nami, I'm waiting for your answer. At this point, how could Nami not know her next choice? 4 words came out of his mouth. I promise you. Now that you have agreed. At least you need to know what's going on the ship. Nami asked, I would like to ask, how many people are there on our boat? Lin Yan turned his head with a mysterious smile on his face. You, and me. Nami originally wanted to wait for the next step. But Lin Yan didn't say his next name for a while. Moment. She seemed to understand something. No, it's not just the two of us on the boat, is it? To be precise, I don't even have a boat. Thanks for watching.